Now the building, when I say Catholic church, it was a Catholic school, Notre Dame, and that building was 80,000 square feet. It was gigantic, and we were moving into that school with hopes of growing, and we had no idea how fast it would grow. And we had about 100 people, 150 people on Union Street when I came there. They asked me to be in charge of the public relations and take care of all of the different aspects of evangelism. And it was really, really exciting when it got going, because God just brought in people from all over the United States, really all over the world, sports figures and all that. And we had 33 different areas of evangelism, and they were all basically going at the same time. We had dining room evangelism, we had sports evangelism, we had, I can't tell you, we had, what was the one, Jonah. I remember the Jonah Club. That was exciting. The Jonah Club was a scuba diving club, and we were teaching scuba diving, and we had, we didn't have large numbers. We had maybe 10 to 15 in the class, but our whole thing was to reach people where they were at their point of interest. This is what God was showing me all the time. Go to the point of interest where people are, and that's where you will catch them. And if there is a place, like when you become a fisher of men, you think about, that's what Jesus said, I'll make you fishers of men. Now, when you become a fisher of men, you think you go where the fish are and what's causing them to go to that place. Well, think about this. You go to a place where the fish are congregating because it's something that the fish are interested in biting on. So the fish are interested in biting on scuba diving. That's a point of interest. So in that point of interest, you start a club and you ask how many are interested in doing scuba diving. And you find, a dozen here, half a dozen there, and you say, well, we're going to start a club. And out of that, you have a ministry that where you're constantly just fellowshipping. And everybody thinks that leading people to Jesus and evangelism and bringing people to Christ is preaching in a church somewhere. Well, that's not the case, all right? The case is you're going to share your life in Christ. That's all. You're going to share your life in Christ. So these people are so interested in scuba, but while you're sitting around a table, while you're talking, while you're getting your suits on, while you're traveling in cars, while you're doing all these things, you're talking about your life. You're talking about Jesus. You're talking about what God is doing in your home and what He's doing in every situation. And when the problems arise that these people have, you're able to introduce the love of Jesus, the power of Jesus to change their lives and their situations. So I just think it's just such a beautiful thing. Well, we had, I think it was somewhere around 30 different types of evangelism. We had telephone book evangelism, newspaper evangelism, where you would go and you would minister to people that were in accidents. You would read it in the newspaper. You'd go to the hospital just to pray with them and share with them. And all these things were constantly going, and so the staff would start to build quickly. We had a staff that we had just a few people, maybe 8 or 10 people. Then before long, we had, I think it's 60 on full-time staff that were being paid, with a nursery school, with a K through 12 regular school, and the nursery school was evangelism by far. Dozens and dozens of parents bringing in their kids, every day to be taken care of. Well, there's an opportunity of ministry. It wasn't long before we had close to 1,500 coming to church, 2 services on a Sunday morning, and then people said, you need to be on TV. And we got on cable TV, which was another major opening that opened dozens and dozens of doors where people would just sit at home and tune in, and then they'd come over and they would visit. These were just the starting, okay? We thought that we would never, ever be able to use that entire facility with a full gymnasium. It just was a mammoth place. And within 2 years, we were starting to look for more space. It was just mind-boggling how fast that grew.